Welcome to another Gio'ism podcast, The Path to Success. And we have here with us Emmanuel. So it's been a pleasure talking to you and learning a little bit more about you. Let's start with telling us a little bit about your background.
Sure. It's been 25 plus years in the construction industry.
Okay.
And then the last 5 years or so in real estate and in business consultation. Just helping people take that mentality from corporate and apply it to businesses everywhere. Just helping people grow.
Beautiful. And now you're here at HGI.
Yeah. Great to be here. Thank you.
We love it. And you were telling us that in the last company that you were working for, that they would have Mr. Hubert's picture and talk about him, how he got everybody started. And I was telling you how Grant Cardone said the same thing. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the company was a vacation club.
Okay.
And the model for it, they gave a lot of recognition to Hubert Humphrey.
Right.
As a founder of a system that is duplicatable and works well.
Wow. So when somebody asks you, is HGI MLM, what's your response?
I love it. Multi-level marketing, I think there's a misconception of what multi-level marketing really is. They have a tendency to think it's something that's false or incorrect. And the most basic term of multi-level marketing is just utilizing people to market versus a traditional way of paying for marketing into a company that puts out information for you.
Okay.
Or generates information out into the public.
Now, what would you say is the difference between HGI's business model and the traditional MLM?
I would say, from what I've been learning most about, is the fact that it's not a basic MLM structure.
Okay.
Right? From what I'm learning about HGI is that it's a full-on, it's business with a system that is predictable. And when we follow systems, much in life, we follow systems that, from education to corporate world, to even business like franchising and everything else. And when you have a system that can be easily followed, right, then it's not unpredictable. It does have MLM infrastructured into it, but it's also a standardized business that can be easily duplicated, followed by a system. And that system has already been proven.
So would you say that that's kind of like a McDonald's, that you go and you buy a McDonald's, but they tell you exactly what needs to be done? Like they say, you can go to New York and get a Big Mac. It's going to taste the same as one in California.
Absolutely. They duplicated a system, and the process of duplication is just fantastic.
You guys hear that? That's a very good point right there. How about when someone says, this sounds like a pyramid scheme? How would you explain the difference?
That's my favorite. And I think one of the things I learned about, just getting involved with the understanding of what like MLM is, or network marketing, as you will, or even just infrastructures as a whole, right? Number one, the pyramid scheme is illegal, right? So a pyramid scheme is when somebody is, in a hierarchical position, doing a process of duplication that may be falsified or that is illegal. So you got to be very careful there, right? But I loved how it was explained to me, that they asked me who I worked for.
Okay.
Right. And at the time I worked for a very prominent construction firm. And they're like, so you think network marketing or MLM could be a pyramid scheme? I said, well, I've heard it so much that like my mind kind of just travels there.
Right.
But I would love for somebody to prove it wrong to me, so I have a better understanding. And they're like, well, fantastic. I'm so glad you think that way. He goes, so picture your boss, right? Now, is he part of a matrix organization or is he hierarchical, right? At the time, I was young. At the time, I didn't really know much of the difference. And he's like, so I said, well, why don't you tell me what the difference in that is? He goes, okay, well, hierarchical is a guy who, or a gentleman or a woman who owns their own company, right? And it stops with them. They are the head of all things, and they disperse the knowledge and the job scope or the scope of duties that you have to perform for them, right? And a matrix organization is made up of a board of people, right? And then you have a tremendous of other people under them to accomplish the same tasks, by the same goals, get to the same results. And I said, okay, so define an MLM and the pyramid scheme. He goes, well, wouldn't the pyramid scheme be the one you're reporting to? Because you working in that pyramid, right? Your boss, he's the top of the pyramid. You as an employee will never make more than he will, ever. So in network marketing or MLM structures, right? If they have great systems, now mind you, there's been other companies that, their structures might have not been as good. There's also been some companies that were doing fraudulent activity.
Right.
But the system that was designed, and why Humphrey is such a well-known person, because he developed a system that actually works.
Right.
And if you're not doing fraudulent activity, then that system, right, when duplicated, is an upside-down pyramid. Because you can start at the very bottom. You're the single person at the very bottom. And although the founders are up top, you can, if you do more work, you can outbeat the people above you. So it's not a pyramid. It's not a pyramid scheme.
No cap.
There's no cap.
Right.
If you outwork me, will you not make more than me? In a hierarchical system, you will never.
Wow.
You can outwork me. I might be paid exactly what you're paid. It's you work 5 times harder than me.
Wow.
That's a pyramid scheme, if I've ever seen it.
Wow. I would say most corporate companies are a pyramid scheme, because from what you look at a regular corporation, the CEO does not do much. All the people are working way more than him, but yet he makes $500,000, $1 million. Interesting. I never saw that.
It's been all over online on YouTube and everything, where there was councilmen asking the CEO of a particular airline that was making an insane amount. And yet the employees were making peanuts. But who's doing all the work? Right? It's the engineers, it's the developers, it's the mechanics, it's all right. But yet this CEO was making an astounding amount of money. And the company was in trouble, right? The company they were having problems with the airplanes and the councilman brought it to the attention, well, don't you think if you perhaps made a lot less and dispersed those funds to fill the holes and pay people adequately, there might be less problems within the organization? But, what we learn about industry and about companies isn't necessarily that way. Now, listen, there's some amazing companies out there. There definitely are. And they're hierarchical, and they believe, hey, we founded it, we built it. They deserve to get paid well. Yes, they do. But you also deserve to bring people up that build you that way.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. And I wish more companies would take that.
Without a doubt. Yeah. Without a doubt. And, I'm a firm believer in the Lord, and when you bless others, it just comes back to you. Mm-hmm. How has your faith been a part in your life?
Yeah, it's a huge thing, because I think we go through life following social norms and standards, and as a young man, I always knew about faith, but I wasn't practicing. And then I started later in my life, I started really saying, man, there's something here that is different than what the world is showing, right? And having faith is saying, man, it's not all about me, right? And when you make life about others, things start to happen in a very unique way, right? I believe that it's that same way with business. When you serve others and you help others create a win, you in turn will have a win too.
Yes.
And I believe God structured it that way. Faith is huge. So important.
I do believe so. And I agree with you 100%. And so does the wife. She's over there shaking her head big time. So would you say in because of your experience, and then as you all can see, we have somebody here that's got a lot of wisdom, has brought a lot to the table. I've learned a lot already. Would you say that in a company like HGI, where would you focus more of your time on? Recruiting or selling insurance, annuities, et cetera, et cetera?
Because the system is designed for both at the same time, the more I'm learning about it, the system is designed for you to recruit and to be licensed and do the work. I think the combination of the both is where your win is, right? Yes, you can focus much like other companies as well. You can recruit heavy. And a lot of companies focus that recruitment pays out better. Well, a system that's designed to be both, right? The better is in the system itself, not deviating from it.
Right.
Not saying, hey, I'm only going to recruit and, hopefully it'll take me here. Well, the system shows you that if you recruit and you become licensed, right? It builds an ecosystem of trust for others that says, hey, you were willing to put in the effort to do X, Y, and Z, so I should probably listen. And the system already is proving itself. HGI and learning so much about it and how big they've gotten in relatively a short amount of time in comparison to some companies that have been around for so long.
Right.
What a great system of duplication and effort.
I agree with you 100%. As you know, Mr. Humphrey's built 3 multi-billion-dollar companies. And like I always say, it takes 32 years just to count to $1 billion, let alone build multi-billion, 3 companies. And HGI just last year in 2025, we already passed $1 billion. So it's already the 4th one going. I could tell that you will bring a lot of knowledge to the company. And if somebody wanted to learn more from you, follow you, get your guidance, which I honestly see that you bring a lot to the table, I could see you creating micro entrepreneurs. I mean this wholeheartedly. Where could they find you?
I'm beefing up my social media accounts. I'm trying to get, I've never really taken the time to, put myself out there. But I think in today's marketplace, if you really want to have success in a multitude of areas, is letting people know what you do and where you're at, how you're available to serve others, right? And I think social media is such a great part to do that. I mean, I'm on LinkedIn.
Okay.
And I have a Facebook account that I don't really use too much, I'm ashamed to say, where other people really are heavy into it and promoting themselves. But I believe it's important. I have a website as well.
Okay. Do you want to share your website with?
Yeah, I have a consulting firm called Waymaker Consulting Group.
Waymaker, I like that.
Yeah, and I'm not the Waymaker. He's the Waymaker. I just serve within it. I'm the vessel. Or a vessel, right? My lovely wife is also in it. And we love serving people. We do it with real estate. We do it with business consultation. And we love learning about new companies and new systems. And the multitude is great. I think when we can really diversify our attention, not just say we're going to put all our eggs into one basket. Don't get me wrong, jobs are great. There's nothing wrong with having a job or a contract. But I think, when we want that independence, that wealth independence, wealth is built, and we have to start teaching ourselves the importance of finance structures. HDI is a great company to learn about finance and learn about wealth generation and a platform and a system that allows you to succeed, and a proven system.
Right.
So,
well, Manny, it was a true pleasure having you on our podcast, and I'm sure that you are going to bless many people.
I'm honored. Thank you so much. Such a pleasure.
Pleasure. So I'm